pet sims. During the lifespan of handheld consoles such as the Game Boy and the Nintendo DS, these games were prominent and were usually great gift fodder that a parent or relative could pick up in the store because it had cute animals on the cover and then easily gift it to their child as a Christmas present, resulting in myself and others experiencing these games. I think many people have memories of these games, and while Nintendogs was an S tier all on its own, there was a large subgenre created by Ubisoft of Petz games ending in a Z. Surprisingly, my sister and I still have some old cartridges, and I wanted to dive into the pet simulator genre for handheld games, more specifically looking at Hamsterz Life 2. Back in the day, when the Nintendo DS was something so many kids owned, pet simulator games were all over the place. Nintendogs was in the S tier all on its own, but the pet games with a Z at the end by Ubisoft were everywhere. I dug out my old physical copy that my sister once owned, and opening up this game was like a time capsule opening up.
Hey. Ooh, what kind of a friendly game is this? There it is.
5,713 days owned.
And so I wanted to try the game again and see what I could uncover in it as an adult. Let me warn you, this game is like a doozy, because it's also a game from its time. There's little information surrounding it and how to play it and get everything, including how to get everything like unlocked, and we're gonna go on a ride together and see what we can find as we revisit this era of handheld pet simulation games via these hamsters. The game begins with customizing your character for some reason, including your eye color and your hair color. I guess they need to specify in order to differentiate the gray, faceless NPCs in this game, and then you get to pick your room in the original Hamsters game, but you could also put in your blood type. But okay, we begin. Your cousin comes in to get the ball rolling, and it seems with this game, you can have different NPC names and people. I usually got Cousin Carrie, but one reset, I think I had another one. But your cousin announces that her hamster had a baby, even though her hamster, Frankie, is a male, and that's the hamster you get to look after, is the baby. It seems the ham is randomly generated, which means it is also resettable. And don't mind me, I'm just over here resetting for an aesthetically pleasing hamster, cause I like cosmetics. Ultimately, I end up with a gray banded one I'm good with. Its name is Billows. Then she brings you to the pet store, and let me just say, the pet store carries this whole game. You're gonna be at the pet store, like, half the time. You'll be extremely accustomed to the owner and the staff unless you never enjoy seeing new things in the shop. Talking to the staff is necessary, and as you talk to them, you're progressing the game. Right off the bat, there were new items I wanted to pick up, but didn't have any money because the currency in the system is stars.
Yum.
How does the star economy work?
Pig payout.
You can get stars by making your hamster happy, where stroking the ham can sometimes net you a huge payout and a dopamine hit for both you and your hamster, and the star economy flourishes that way. However, in the beginning, your hamster hates you. Trying to interact with it nets you lightning and bitterness, which means the economy is in a recession when you have a hamster that isn't used to you yet. So you might rely on the stars coming from them eating, cleaning their cage, clipping nails, or watching them run around the wheel before ultimately wiping out. The image of them running on the wheel and then being flung off of it is full on an unlocked memory I got to relive. But okay, what else is there to do? That's a question you'll ask yourself often. And one big feature of this game is the breeding system. If you look on the back of the box, don't look at that weird tiger-looking hamster, we'll get to that. But over there, it shows a mother hamster and a baby one. How to breed hamsters is like one of the most looked up things on forums for how you do this. There's a lot of questions, and some is on breeding, of course. It's gonna be the key to get rare hamster breeds as well. What you have to do to breed hamsters, Cecilia can tell you the basics, and I think a book in the shop can tell you the basics, but there's some other stuff to it as well. Anyway, you gotta have the hamsters of the same species, even though I think the Campbell and dwarf hamsters can breed together, and then male-female, of course, and you had to put them in the cage together a lot. So even though your cousin came to you with a cage at first, it seems, she actually gave you 3. You can care for 3 hamsters at a time in 3 cages. They can't stay in the cages together, they can only visit, and so when you leave, they are vanished back into their own cage. But if you want to breed hamsters, put them in a cage together, and then you just give them a lot of time. Like, a lot of time. Those are surface conditions, and they're pretty intuitive, I have to say, but there's other less obvious requirements. I can imagine some kids not getting these. First being is that you have to actually partner them up. There is a nifty little icon where they have hearts with each other. You gotta make sure they have that. And then you also have to make sure they're old enough to breed, since they have to be at least like 21 days old, I think, which meant I was having to do some time skips. And when you do time skips and things, your hamsters hate you, and they might get sick. And oh my gosh, my hamsters got sick so much. Even when I wasn't time skipping things, like, they warn you in the shop, hey, you gotta give them food and water or else they'll get sick, just like real life. But my hamsters got so often sick, and when they do, I was having to go to the shop to look at the treasure area, and there's a lot of little treasures. And one is pills, even though I'm a fool. It's like a syringe, and then I'm like trying to feed it to the hamster. Not very intuitive, but like, you had to feed it in the mouth and stuff, but oh my gosh, my hamsters got sick so much, and I was always having to get pills. Every time I'm in the shop, there's like little novel things. It's very cool. The shop owners in the chat and the people, they say the same thing over and over again. The NPCs, you just memorize their dialogue, and I memorized pretty much all of it. The shop has really basic hamsters in the beginning, very boring, just like brown in color. You got your dwarf hamsters as well if you like the small guys. You got the big golden ones with like band and stuff. It's very boring. But like I said, later on, you get spotted hamsters. You get hamsters with red eyes. You get some crazy stuff that we're gonna look at. The treasures are also just little things you can put in the cage to make them enjoy the time, I guess, more. By the end of the game, the favorite toy I used was the dice. I just put that dice in there, the hamsters run around and they throw the dice. Some love them more than others. And then they get like a big dopamine hit after they throw this dice. It even shows you what number they rolled. So hey, next time I go to a tournament, I forget my dice, I'll just whip out my DS, let the hamster roll. Heads, tails, I'll go first, thank you, and we're going.
What is this? What is this Minecraft? They just get to walk around. What are they doing? Walking. That's what. I can't even pet them. Whoa, they're fighting. I don't understand some of these. I don't. The brush. You'd assume with the brush that it would be simple enough of like doing this stuff, but I don't know how to use it. I guess I can just do like this, but I've never gotten a reward for it or any indication that it's like working. Except this. I guess he's enjoying it. Oh, gotta set him down gently. He's landed. Come on. Oh, that hot. The drop. Same with the grain. First off, I thought I was dropping in the cage. I'm not. This is something I have to touch the hamster with. And you do this. And I have grain. Why? Do I give it to him? Do I let him eat it? No. He holds on to it. Dangling. Usually falling by now. Oh, there's the fall. And repeat. Oh boy, what is this? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Hello? Oh, gotta set him down gently.
Boom. They're in the same cage together, and they need the time. Some people suggest leaving the DS on overnight while they're in the cage together, and that's also a trick that racks up a ton of stars if you just leave it on, especially if you throw a dice in there, oh my god. But thankfully, I didn't have to wait overnight for baby hamster stuff or getting a hamster pregnant. It would usually just take a couple hours. I would just leave the DS on idle and then just like do other things. But yeah, then you jump ahead and it results in a pregnancy. There's no real way to tell your hamster's pregnant besides going to the pet store and showing it to the owner. That's where you go to see if they're pregnant. He'll just stop you right before you can click any menu, and he'll notice right away what a pregnancy is and what doesn't look like a pregnancy. He says then, congrats, of course, yeah, thank you. He says wait a week to 10 days, and that also just means time skip. But voila, once you do that, a hamster is born. You get to see the same image as the one on the back. Isn't that cool? Again, this is resettable. There's a lot of variety of hamsters and their coats, their eyes, as we looked at, and as you progress the game more and unlock more, there's other stuff you can get. And there are rare hamsters in this game. Oh my gosh, we'll get to that. Anyway, sometimes NPCs will want to breed their hamsters too, because you get to go visit your NPC pals as well. This also progresses the game in different ways, and it's kind of a headache, but we'll get there. Carrie has a boring, solid colored gold one. Frankie, I hate Frankie. Frankie hates me. Frankie hates my hamster. I can never make friends with Frankie. I hate Frankie as well. We just hate each other. As much as I don't love going to the NPC, they say the same lines, and then we see the hamsters. This is necessary if you want to, like, progress. You're gonna have to go and go and go, and this is repetitive. If you want to get more people to visit, you just have to visit Carrie a million times over, and then eventually her, like, mom or whatever, your aunt comes in and she's like, hey, I love hamsters too. You should come by and see my hamster sometimes. Her hamster's a lot better than Frankie. Hers is Jeffrey. He's got like some cute gray spots, but yeah, you meet her and then you just go to her a million times, and eventually it unlocks other people. Like Cecilia in the shop also gets unlocked. She has a white dwarf hamster that you don't get to see in the store unless you progress, and all of these are pretty easy to witness, like those three, but others aren't easy at all. We'll get to that. If we check out the back of the box again, it also mentions mini games. And this is the only way I would know that there's mini games in the game, because I never unlocked them, and they don't get mentioned. And aside from breeding, questions about how to play the mini games were plentiful. How do you unlock them? What are they? Who knows? The first Hamsterz game had some mini games that were memorable and they were easy to get to, but for some reason the second game just doesn't want to give you, like, anything. They're locked behind dialogue from your NPC friends, and it looks like you just have to keep going to them to see eventually what you can unlock and hopefully play mini games, you know, the actual game content. Otherwise, no. However, the necessary visits are huge. There's no hint in the game on this stuff. I don't know why they locked it behind all this. You just have to keep visiting your NPCs and meeting other absurd requirements that I'm not sure many people got to. I don't know why they made it such a grind, but there you go. I never tried the minigames because I never unlocked them, and frankly, at this point, I do not want to. But if you're going for the minigames, you'll be visiting other NPCs, and the process will mean you'll likely unlock more cousins. I admit I'm a sucker for hard to unlock special or rare breeds a little bit. The things that are just word of mouth. Something that your real life sibling or cousin would like whip out on the screen and just, it'd blow your mind as a child of like, how the hell did you get that? I didn't know that was possible. Problem is, there's so little information or guidance on how to get things. Remember that tiger hamster on the back of the box? That is such an enticing looking hamster, with the text talking about unlocking rare breeds. Of course, this is the big rare breed. They put this thing on the box, and because of that, everyone knows it at least exists. And that's a chase if I ever saw one in a pet game. But guys, I still don't know how to get it. This is one of those games that has no major clear-cut answers, but some people claim certain breeding combinations work, and since breeding takes a long time, it's hard to like verify everything. It's a matter of trying them out. It takes time, and while I tried to breed a hamster for this video, the tiger guy, I was coming up short. I was trying to breed what others said, as well as making sure to make the hamsters happy and whatnot, and then resetting, and so on, but nothing worked. Is this the thrill of the chase? Because this sure was a chase that still ended in failure. But through my efforts and research, I saw other people would drop mentions of other rare breeds. Raccoon hamster. What the hell's a raccoon hamster? A raccoon? How do you get that thing? Frog hamster, chick hamster, are these simply rumors? I played to a point of one day getting a jump scare from a raccoon-looking hamster in the pet store that you could purchase for 50,000 stars as a female. The most expensive cage I found in the game was 20,000. This hamster was over double that. Female hams are always more expensive, but even the males were 40,000. And it truly felt like an endgame hamster, and I picked some up before going bankrupt. I then came across mumblings of another rare hamster, the star hamster. This post about it sounds so fake, and it feels like Mew under the truck vibe, but had it not been for a bad quality picture of a star hamster profile on another site, I may have not gotten the chance to try and go for the star hamster. I did as the post instructed, breeding golden hamsters before then setting the clock to past 2:30 a.m. but not past 2:50 a.m. and then changed the date to Christmas Day. And when I got back in, I saw it. A star hamster. I felt like I found a shiny Pokemon. There's even different coat patterns. You can get 3 stars running down its back, or clustered up, and the colors can be different too. I ended up with a gray one with huge stars on it, and it felt kinda cool to have a secret little hamster like the poster said. I tried breeding raccoons, doing the same thing, and I did get another star hamster. Striking, stunning, this black one. It was incredible. But there was another one to unlock, an hedgehog hamster. What's a hedgehog hamster? How would you go about getting that? It's quite the task. The pellet-eating, laid-back shop clerk named Aaron actually owns one, and there's a lot that goes into seeing it. Remember Anna, the one you can unlock by visiting the other NPCs first? After you talk to her like 20 or 25 times, suddenly Cecilia's there, from the shop, and she knows Anna. After you see Cecilia, naturally you go to the shop, and she'll, instead of saying her typical NPC lines, will say that Anna has a thing for Aaron. This kind of blindsided me a bit because there's no real plot or real character connection up until this point, and the NPCs are just so lifeless and they don't interact with each other much at all. But she says I should go help Anna out. Later, I think the trigger being entering another cage, you should get stopped by dialogue from Anna barging in. The story continues, and you have to go talk to Aaron at the shop. Once you go to the shop and speak with him, having Anna come along, eventually they get to a point where they can swap phone numbers with one another, but we're not done. Because we have to go progress a little further, go into another cage, to where the flag is marked and Anna is excited about it more, telling us about it. We get to talk to Aaron some more, and, ultimately, we get these 2 NPCs a date. And he's excited to show her his hamster. Cut to after the date, though. She didn't show the hamster much attention, and this ends in you being the one, actually, who will go over and give his hamster some attention. This quest line is rather convoluted compared to everything else in the game, but once you go visit him, you will see it. He has a hedgehog hamster, and oh my gosh, does it look like a cute tiny hedgehog! I believe if you want one yourself, you have to breed with his, and it can come in a brown color as well as a gray one we'll look at. But yeah, sometimes NPCs will ask to partner hamsters up, and this would be the only one with a little secret involved. Once again, the post outlining this process of unlocking the shop guy sounds a little fake, but it's real, and I'm so glad it exists, because otherwise I don't think I'd be able to see this hedgehog. I'm not talking to Anna 25 times naturally. As I went through this, it just turned into a game of just curiosity and wondering what else is in here and how you can get this stuff. I wish I had more answers, but despite everything, there's still elusive hamsters you can unlock somehow. I ended the game after trying to get these rare hamsters by settling on trying cheat codes to at least see what they looked like and what's actually possible. The codes for different hamsters and their coats and patterns give a glimpse of what's within the game, but without them there's still so much mystery. I didn't know how far others might have gotten in this game and what they did to unlock these things, but I want to at least show you the possible rarest ones. I'm a fool though, so I corrupted my save file data and everything got deleted, but I wasn't gonna give up. I figured it out eventually and it worked, starting with a bright red hamster. This is a Santa hamster, which I have no clue on how you would get. I'm sure it's by breeding on Christmas Day or something like that, but the exact combos aren't in my pool of knowledge. There's also a frog hamster and a chick.
Oh, okay. He's like just green. Guess that makes sense, I guess. Don't make it crazy. I don't know what I expected. Yeah, just bright. Chick. So yellow. My goodness.
A firefly pattern.
He's black. Look at this guy. Interesting. This is new and different. Look at that tail. I do like this guy. What the heck? Oh, I forgot the others, but you can see what breed they, yeah, show. Firefly classification.
The elusive tiger hamster, and even a gray variant of the hedgehog. I hope this video brings forth a feeling of nostalgia and intrigue, having looked back on this. The game is one of the many ones produced by Ubisoft, and there's a lot of ones that come to mind that maybe I might cover one day as well, but while the game is simple on the surface, some of the mechanics are not at all. And like I said earlier, I can imagine many didn't get too far into this game, but I can see why. It doesn't hold that much reward or content, and although that's expected in like a little pet simulator game, the progression being locked behind boring and repetitive things is something I obviously don't remember as a kid, but really is highlighted here. The only cool thing was the rare hamsters, but I felt like it was such a hunt in terms of information. But I liked seeing what was possible in this. And ultimately, this game is an iconic experience for some, and a glimpse back at the mid-2000s with what a handheld game pool consisted of, and specifically, how the simple hamster simulator game worked. It's nothing like the first game, but yeah, that's this one. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'd love to know your thoughts as well. Same goes for your own memories of the game if you had any, and if you know how to get these hamsters or other tips and tricks, feel free to mention them down below. Oh my gosh. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye!